listening to Sports Radio Detroit.
Welcome to Grave Discussions. I am your host, Barnabas.
And I am Samael. Welcome to a very, very special last episode of the year. Episode number 88. The year's best fears.
That's right, fiends. 2019 has pretty much come and gone now. This will be our last official episode of the year, as Sam pointed out. And just like last year, we have to round it out with our best horror films of the year. We each have a top 10 list, just because it would be really hard to put together kind of like a cumulative list, I think, because we both have some different tastes, etc., etc. And we both have watched some different movies this year. So we each have a list, and we're going to talk about the year. So there's a lot to do and a lot to talk about. So we don't have a new segment or anything like that for you guys this episode. But of course, you can always stay up to date with us on social media, and you can check out Bloody Disgusting and stuff like that. So first of all, I want to give a huge shout out to Sports Radio Detroit for hosting us for yet another year. It's going to be 2 years in just a few months here. Those guys are awesome.
Yes, they've been with us since the beginning, since we pitched the idea for this podcast at a Starbucks.
Yeah.
And you know, apparently nothing like this podcast has still been done to this day, especially with the news, the trailers, and the reviews in depth, discussing every aspect of the horror movies of our choosing that we discuss.
Yeah.
So it's come a long way. We started from being these timid hosts of this show, stuttering here and there, and now it's about to be 2 years, and we've indulged in a lot more horror since we started as well. Even though we were already giant fans to begin with, now I guess you could say we're even bigger fans. My collection has went from about 30 movies to about 1,300 movies. I make my own Jason masks now. My room is flooded with Michael Myers, Jason, and Leatherface, and Zombie, and all these collectibles and props, and like, things have changed. The more we got into this podcast, it seems, and the more we were able to discuss things in depth with each other, but especially like with viewers and people that actually, you know, listen to us. Listeners, not viewers. We don't have videos yet. But the more we were able to discuss this, I feel like the more like we realize like how important the horror culture is to the horror community, and I'm glad to be a part of it. And hopefully, like, from here on out, we can just keep growing our fan base, and that's my main goal.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we love our fans. You guys are the reason, you know, why we do what we do. And if you guys still want to keep hearing us, then we're definitely going to continue to grow. Hopefully, you know, one day get like our own studio, get better equipment, better sound, and, you know, start doing more interviews with people, etc. So, I mean, let us know what you guys want to see from Grave Discussions. Thank you to all of you. Thank you to SRD for giving us the opportunity, of course. Thank you to all the special guests we've had: Roger Castillo, Jennifer Gettner, the caretaker, Joe in the background there. You know, shout outs to all of them, and anyone else I forgot to mention. And we do also have to give an opportunity for some other SRD shows to shine. So no news this week, but we do have a few messages here, and then we'll get right into talking about 2019 and our top 10 lists. So stick around. We'll be back in just a moment.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Jeremy Bryant. Catch me, E, and Brian on Pearson's Piece, 8 to 9 a.m. on Sports Radio Detroit Network, CRB, on Spotify, iTunes, anywhere else you can find podcasting.
because I feel like a salad tossing might feel good.
What? Out of Bounds Detroit podcast. Tuesday morning and Friday mornings here on sportsradiodetroit.com.
And welcome back, creeps. It is now time to officially wrap up 2019 in horror here on Grave Discussions. Are you excited, Sam?
I'm excited because we had a lot to be excited about this year. The year really started off, when was it, in January or February for us, when Escape Room came out.
Yeah, January. I think it was January.
I believe that was our first horror movie of the year, if you can classify it as horror. I do.
Yeah.
Because people kidnapping you and putting you in death rooms is fucking terrifying. So, unfortunately, Escape Room did not crack even my top 20.
Okay.
Not saying it wasn't bad, but there were a lot of, I want to say, better movies, and there were good movies that came out this year. Unfortunately, Escape Room was my number 23. How about you?
It was my number 27.
See?
Yeah. So just for reference, I mean, I have all the movies that I watched that I considered 2019 movies, and, you know, just to get this out of the way, these movies either had a theatrical release this year or had like an official wide release. So some of these movies may technically be considered 2018. However, you know, we're here in the US, and so that's kind of my standard for the availability and what I consider 2019 horror. So yeah, anyway, but continue.
So after, you know, we watched Escape Room, we were like, all right, you know, the year's not going to be horrible. You know, we have other movies coming out that we were excited for. And after this one, it was The Prodigy. That was our second movie, I believe, that for sure we watched second in theaters. We didn't have anything before that. And then unfortunately, that one didn't crack my top 20 either. I had that at number 21.
Yeah, let's see. I have mine all the way down at number 42. I was going to say, this is my original train of thought, but I had 55 movies for 2019 that are on my list overall that I watched this year.
Okay, I have 27.
Okay. Yeah, I did quite a lot, and, you know, I dug a lot into the independent scene as well. So there were actually a bunch of theatrical release movies that did make my top 10, but those first, you know, few at the beginning of the year actually ended up kind of lower. So
yeah, I think 3 independent movies cracked my top 10.
Nice. Yeah, we're gonna get into all of that, of course, but yeah, we had The Prodigy. Still looked pretty decent, I think, when we reviewed that movie. We were overall still optimistic.
Yeah, we had more of like a CinemaSins moment with that movie, just really minor things like how did the kid know that his time was up before he could, you know, go back to normal, and little things like that, other than like the pacing and like the way it ended, setting up for a sequel. Spoiler alert. But yeah. Yeah,
no, I agree with you. A lot of the really good stuff I feel like started to come out sort of, you know, toward the summer, and then definitely in like the fall as well. We got some really great films. But, you know, looking at the year overall, I would say I'm still pretty optimistic about a lot of it. Obviously, there were some shitters, as there always are. But I think that the genre is still going in a pretty good direction. I do think, honestly, it's more popular than ever.
I agree.
We are seeing this kind of trend of a lot of these theatrical release movies being kind of geared more toward, you know, being sort of watchable by anybody. You know, things like even The Prodigy, things like Escape Room especially. And I think that's fine. I mean, there's always going to be an audience for those kind of movies, and they're always going to pretty much make money. So, you know, whatever. Same thing with all the sequels and remakes and all that kind of stuff. People always are saying that, oh, horror is dead now, and all that shit. I don't agree. I mean, yeah, you see a lot of that stuff because it's very safe. So all the paranormal, like demonic possession type stuff, it feels so constant, and it is because it is safe. It's still profitable right now. So I do think that is a trend that's going to continue. I don't necessarily like that because I feel like every time we do news or a trailer, there's always like one or two of these types of movies in there. But if they're really good, then, you know, great. But there are a lot.
See, the thing that's just been killing me with this year in horror and with the following year is all these announcements of reboots and remakes.
Yeah.
I feel like they're kind of just piggybacking off of already successful franchises because people aren't really, you know, creative geniuses. Sure, they can take something that's existed and, make a cool sequel, but we haven't had like a slew of really original horror. Like, it's like, at least in like popular media, like, especially with announcements, it's always been like, oh, Candyman reboot, oh, It Chapter 3, oh, the Halloween sequel, and it doesn't feel really like there's any passion behind any of these projects anymore. And sure, if I made a Michael Myers movie, I would be passionate about it, but it still wouldn't like be the same thing as me creating my own movie with its own premise and my own iconic killer.
Oh, for sure. But I mean, I don't know. I think that it really is the fan base that's doing it, because, look at something like Color Out of Space, which actually has garnered a lot of, anticipation and positive acclaim, etc. But compare it to something like the news of Halloween Kills.
Yeah.
I mean, Halloween is just going to get so many more comments, so many more views, etc., because it's already so established. And, people complain about it, yes, but at the same time, it's what's in. It's what people care about. It's what they're talking about, So, I mean, if we had all original movies, then there would still be people going like, well, hey, what about Halloween? What about Friday the 13th?
Yeah.
Etc. So while it does seem to take away from it, I do think the independent scene is coming in really strong. I think A24 probably had their best year.
Oh,
and
yeah.
They're one of the like profit independent studios that are making these weird or thought-provoking, horror movies. And so I think that that's going to continue. And I hope that other independent studios start getting into the mainstream like A24 did. Because I think there's a lot of good filmmaking out there.
As long as it's not uncorked.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Oh man, that and like Atrium and not those guys. I'm not talking about those guys, of course. But, but in general, I think that there is a lot of talent out in the independent scene. So I hope that movies like Color Out of Space and those guys do well, because we need it, for horror. And hopefully we start seeing more original stuff in the theater. Yeah, absolutely.
I hope so. We really need it at this point. I'm just sick of like the regurgitated shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that said, I do think the independent scene this year especially was very strong, and we are going to get into that. Looking into 2020, I think it is going to be a lot of the same, but again, I hope we see more really successful independent stuff, and just more monster movies, please. I would love to see more good monster movies. So, yeah. But, all right, so that's kind of our thoughts in general on the year. Overall, I think pretty successful. Now, what were the big stinkers for you? Bottom 5 movies on your list.
Okay, so in very last place, I have Black Christmas.
Okay.
We already discussed this. I don't want to go over it again. It literally pains me to think about it. After that, I have The Curse of La Llorona.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why anyone liked that movie. It's the exact same premise as every horror movie. Hey, look, a ghost. Oh no, we can't get rid of it. How about you, priest? Well, I can't get rid of it because it's against the law, but I know someone who doesn't follow these rules, who also knows these things, and they're bringing another guy, whatever. Okay, so those are my bottom 2. So the third one would have to be Hell House LLC 3. It was okay halfway through the movie. Then, like, the tone just changed, and then, like, spoiler alert, at the end of the movie, they were in, like, heaven or whatever.
Okay.
And they're like, okay, it's stupid.
Okay.
After that, Velvet Buzzsaw.
Really? Wow, okay.
I did not enjoy that movie. I love Jake Gyllenhaal. I just felt like these artsy hipster movies, just when they're not done right, like Mother was done right, Antichrist was done right. I did not like Velvet Buzzsaw.
Okay.
And then the last one has to be the Banana Splits movie.
Oh man, okay.
While it is a fun slasher, didn't really feel like a slasher. It's just like robots gone wild, and we already had a movie like that with Child's Play that I ranked 4 paces above that. So
okay.
It's not as good as Child's Play, but Child's Play is also only 4 spaces above it. Child's Play is my number 20.
Okay. Yeah, Child's Play is my number 21
Nice.
out of 55. So you may have forgotten about this one, or you actually liked it more than I thought you did. My last place movie of the year, God, this one was fucking terrible. Soul to Keep.
Oh yeah, I didn't even add
I
that
know.
one.
You probably just burned it out of your memory because it's just so far below even
It had
putting
that-
it on a list.
It had that sci-fi like special
Ugh.
sci-fi channel movie release.
Like worse than
Orange cinematography, like with the fucking orange lens, and
that. Yeah. Yeah, I don't even want to think about that movie anymore. So,
as long as it's not a Blood Slaughter Massacre.
I mean, no, but it's still pretty bad. So.
Yeah, probably besides Black Christmas, worst
Ugh.
movie of the year.
All right. Well, let me go through my other 4 here. The next one is Black Christmas, unfortunately. Again, we already griped about that one enough. After that, at number 53 is Mercy Black.
Oh god.
Yeah, I just...
Just
the
cookie
end
cutter.
the end was the only like even decent thing about that movie, and other than that, wasn't very good.
I don't even remember it.
Right? Yeah.
I don't.
I remember a little bit of the end with that woman crawling around or whatever, but that's about it.
Dude, when I watch these like chopping block movies, I put my phone on airplane mode,
Yeah.
and I still don't remember this movie.
Oh. So after that is The Silence. Just not really a fan.
Oh,
Could have
God.
been so much better than it was.
I didn't even add that one.
Yeah.
If any movie made it to my list that I didn't like, okay, I didn't like it. But if it didn't make it to my list, I just know that if it was on my list, it would be at the, like all
Okay.
these movies that you mentioned, like Soul to Keep,
hmm
The Silence. This is the bottom of the
Yeah.
shit barrel. We're really scraping it.
Yeah, I just track literally everything I watch. So that's my number 52. And then the last worst one is The Curse of La Llorona. Could have been so much better. Honestly, without that stupid CGI on her face, it could have been a below average movie, but it was just even worse than that.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are my last 5. Ouch. All right. However, let's move up the list a bit. We'll give our full lists out, I think, on the website. You can go check it out on Letterboxd. That's where I have mine. That's where you have yours as well, I think. So pre-top 10, let's give our honorable mentions here, 15 through 11, starting at number 15. And let's go, me then you, or whatever.
Okay.
Okay. So what's your 15?
My 15 is Candy Corn.
Okay.
While it wasn't anything groundbreaking and the pace was pretty slow, I still think it deserves an honorable mention, and it was extremely enjoyable, especially for the month of October. Super festive and all-around enjoyable movie.
All right. Just for reference, that was my number 44. I was not as big of a
Gotcha.
fan of it. Yeah. So my number 15, I actually just watched the other day, is another A24 new release, In Fabric. So I actually really enjoyed it. It's got this pretty cool retro vibe to it. The actual movie itself is really fucking weird. Like, it follows 2 protagonists that both come into possession of this like haunted dress, but it's very cool. There's some like anti-consumerism kind of stuff in there, but it is implicit. It doesn't come right out with it. There's some really comical stuff in the movie, but I liked the retro feel. I thought it was well shot. Music was good. Acting overall was pretty good, but it wasn't like mind-blowing for me.
Gotcha.
So next up, number 14.
Number 14, Happy Death Day to You. While it changed from a horror movie slasher to a sort of sci-fi horror movie still nonetheless, because there's a killer,
Yeah.
I thought it was enjoyable, other than the fact that it was just a bit too long, and like when they finally found out what was wrong and they went about solving it, it felt like it took forever.
Yeah, that's fair. For reference, that was my number 25. I will agree some of the pacing was weird, I think, because of the tonal shift a little bit, but yeah, I enjoyed it overall. I just watched like too many better movies, in my
Yeah.
opinion. So my number 14 is One Cut of the Dead.
Still haven't seen it.
You should. It is good.
Heard good things about it.
I will say this, when I was watching it, I enjoyed it, but looking back on it, it was good, but it wasn't 10 out of 10 like some people I think are making it out to be. The actual like one shot, the beginning of the film, maybe spoiler, I don't know, was actually really good, I think, and then what happened after that was decent, but then there is a pretty big shift in kind of what you see on the screen and just in general, and I feel like once it got there, it maybe like was a little too different for me. So but overall, I liked it. It was a really good representation kind of the kind of crazy shit that can, go on like a low budget horror shoot. So for that, I really enjoyed it. Yeah, and it was impressive.
I should watch it.
Yeah, most definitely. I have the Blu-ray. I can let you borrow it
I'm down.
for sure. All right, number 13.
Number 13, and we watched this one recently, Antrum. I felt like it was just experimental enough to catch my attention. I really liked the fact that it was like just super like just shrouded in like questions. Like
Yeah.
you weren't sure if this was like a reality. Had they really went into hell? Are they killing two crazy Hungarians, or are those two real demons? And it was just super ambiguous, you know? Like so like that's what I really enjoyed about it. And like the little subliminal satanic messages, and really the whole feel of the movie kind of reminded me of a dark song, and I really enjoyed that one
Yeah,
a lot.
I agree with that, actually. This one was my number 18.
Gotcha.
I will say I was pleasantly surprised by it, and it was definitely super creepy just in the whole structure, like how everything played out. All of the subliminal messaging was actually pretty cool. We don't really see that enough.
We caught all of it though.
Yeah.
We stopped at every subliminal, like when I noticed it, and we just pause, and usually you'd see like the Astaroth pentagram or like something in Latin that we Google translated. So
I mean, when we actually like pay attention to it, like full stop, we're pretty eagle-eyed. So, but you
Yeah.
know, it's still something cool to watch out for in the movie. And yeah, it's just like a interesting experimental thing. I like it.
you're not gonna hypnotize us, buddy boys.
No.
You know who we are.
Of course, yeah, we're the undead already. So, my number 13 is, and some of you may not feel it deserves the inclusion, but I do, Godzilla, King of the Monsters.
Oh, that was a good one.
Yeah. So, like, fuck you guys. Godzilla is a lot of things, but it is also a horror movie because, obviously.
He's a giant fucking monster.
Yeah. So, that's all. I think that's all that needs to be said about it.
He's a giant fucking monster. One of the first giant fucking monsters, okay?
And this one had multiple giant fucking monsters all fighting each other.
They did.
And yeah, it was just awesome. You know, this is one where, yes, it has its flaws, but I put it in this spot. I actually probably could have put it higher because I am definitely a Godzilla fanboy, and this one just hit all the right marks for me. It was fun. It was super enjoyable. The monsters were awesome. You know, obviously, it wasn't like scary on the surface because it didn't have those like vibes and atmosphere. But
At some points it had the atmosphere.
it did, yeah. I mean, when you saw like King Ghidorah and stuff, and even Godzilla, there was this one cool scene underwater where you kind of see him. I mean, that shit is terrifying, but you know, it is also kind of an action movie. But that said, I had to put it up there because it was awesome. So, all right, number 12.
Number 12, Pet Sematary. Almost cracked my top 10. Listen, for you guys that say the original is better, I want you to go back and watch it without your stupid nostalgia lenses. That's like saying that the new Friday the 13th remake sucked. I'll give you that Nightmare on Elm Street was trash.
Yeah.
But the Friday the 13th remake was better than Part 8, Part 7, not Part 6, definitely Part 5, not Part 4 or 3, but I think it was way better than 2 and 1 in terms of like realism and being actually scary.
Yeah, I mean,
Not to mention Jason Goes to Hell, Jason X.
but we're not talking about
Yeah.
Jason. But I totally understand where you're coming from. I thought the Pet Sematary remake was actually pretty enjoyable. It was number 23 for me.
Gotcha.
But I did really like it. I think I did enjoy it more than the original. Just, man, some of the acting and stuff in there, like Gage and Zelda were definitely the best parts of that movie.
Yeah.
And other than that, it was really just okay. Like everything else could have been like a TNT movie just straight to TV, and I would have accepted that.
Yeah.
You know, so I think the new one did a lot of good things. Yeah.
A lot of things better than the original.
Agreed.
Let's be real here.
Agreed.
The original is not a masterpiece.
Yeah. I get why it's a classic, but I do think that the comparison is not as wide in terms of quality as some people think. So my number 12 is Bliss. So this is a new one from Joe Bagos, who we did kind of talk about this movie a little bit. We mentioned, I think there was a trailer or something. It looked batshit insane. I'm proud to say that does translate into the full movie pretty well. It really goes like absolutely fucking bonkers in like the last half of the movie, but the first half is pretty good. The reason I didn't really put it higher is just because, just due to its nature, like you don't really connect with any of the characters because they're all kind of pieces of shit. because it follows these like struggling artists and wherever, probably LA or something. And the main character is this like drug fueled artist who's trying to finish his painting, so she's just always like snorting coke and stuff. And one night just shit goes bad. She meets up with people who she thinks are her friends and then starts feeling this like lust for blood and everything. So it's really trippy. It's super out there. I think the vampire stuff actually was pretty cool, but it wasn't like the kind of vampire stuff that I wanted, you know. But overall, I think it was a pretty impressive effort. Just don't watch this if you're epileptic. That's all I'm gonna say.
Good thing I'm not.
Yeah, no, you should definitely check it out, though. I do recommend it. So number 11.
Number 11, we have Brightburn, the evil Superman. Wasn't scary enough really to crack my top 10, but definitely was gory and dark enough and mysterious enough. And I really enjoyed the Jaws scene. I enjoyed the ending. I enjoyed the stalky kills because he didn't just like straight up just run up to him. Like,
yeah. No, I enjoyed all that stuff too, but I will talk more about Brightburn momentarily. My number 11 is Haunt.
ooh,
Yes. So I did really like this one. It was in my top 10 briefly because, you know, I guess when you really kind of look at it, it's not the most innovative thing in the world. However, it did a good job of being a pretty great Halloween flick.
yes.
And it was just a good movie. I think in general, it was tense. You know, there was a lot of suspense to it, and I was always kind of wondering what was going to happen and always kind of, you know, looking over my shoulder and that kind of thing. So, you know, if a movie can make me feel that way, I feel like it's pretty successful.
I agree.
Yeah. So I liked that one. But that is my number 11. And now our top 10 films. Before we get into that, do you want to mention anything else, like a big disappointment, a big surprise as far as like a movie goes?
Camp Wedding, that was a surprise.
Okay.
It was complete. See, this is what I mean about new ideas. Sure, Camp Wedding, I had it at number 16. Didn't crack my honorable mentions, but it was super original, and I don't think I've ever seen a horror movie with that kind of premise at all.
Yeah. No, I agree with
We
you.
thought it was going to be a campground slasher, and it was not.
It may have taken a little bit too long to really kind of show what it was about, but I agree. It was an original, and it was a cool campground slasher. So,
And Ma wasn't that good. Didn't crack my top 10. She was 19. I Trapped the Devil. I was pleasantly surprised with that one.
okay.
It was rather enjoyable. Same thing with Hole in the Ground. I really enjoyed that movie as well.
Okay.
I was disappointed that Annabelle Comes Home came in at
yeah.
number 22 for me.
Yeah, that was my number 41. And some of those I had a little bit down there. Ma, I agree. I was a little disappointed with. I was pleasantly surprised by The Furies. That one was pretty decent, actually.
Still have to watch that one.
It was good. I mean, it's not like the most, I guess, visually pleasing, you know, like slasher or, you know, killer game thing out there, but it was cool. I was pleasantly surprised with Child's Play. You know, I was fully expecting it to be like at the bottom of my list.
Oh no, it's 20
But-
for me.
Yeah, it was my number 21.
Nice.
And then I will say I was a little disappointed with The Headhunter. It made my number 16, but you don't see as much of all the monsters and stuff as you wish you did.
Damn.
And I probably get why they did it. It's budgetary reasons, I'm sure, and they wanted to keep it kind of mysterious and really let you focus on the hero's kind of journey as he goes for revenge after the monster who killed his daughter. But yeah, you just don't see enough, unfortunately. And then I was going to say I liked In the Tall Grass as well. A lot of people shit on this movie, but I think it was a pretty good movie. You know, I think it was a perfect Stephen King story to adapt. I think the adaptation was fine, and I think it was just done pretty well. It wasn't as bad as people made it out to be.
I still have yet to see it. Just the fact that everyone was ranting and raving over it, whether for praising it or for shitting on it, it really just killed my vibe to even like want to watch it.
Yeah. It's not like the most pertinent thing to watch, but it was my number 17. So, I mean, I thought it was pretty decent. All right. So that's enough of that, I think. Let's go one after the other. And we're going to get into our top 10 lists of the best horror in 2019. Guys, if you have your own lists, send them to us. We want to know. But here we go. Number 10.
So, ready or not?
Okay.
I was not surprised by this movie. I knew it was going to be good, and I don't think there's a way it could have been better. Supernatural element was really brought to the light as not just like a myth right at the end of the movie, which I think in turn made the movie better than if they were all just batshit crazy. So it really made it seem like they weren't doing it for no reason, over superstition and all that stuff, because, hey, no one knows if heaven and hell is real, but, why tempt it?
Yeah. I liked that inclusion as well, and overall I found the movie really fun. But my number 10 is Brightburn.
Ooh.
I almost felt tempted to put it a little bit lower, but I actually really did enjoy it. I was just sitting in the theater going, oh man, oh shit,
Yeah.
And when a movie does that, I can't help but just like it. I think it did a really cool thing with being a truly kind of dark and gory superhero horror movie, which is another pretty unique thing. I mean, we've had them before in a way, but this one with the stalk and kill elements, the brutality, just the rise of this villain was just super cool. I had never really seen anything like it, and I like innovation in horror, so I think this movie definitely did that. CGI wasn't bad. It was just it was a good watch. So
Agreed.
all right, number 9.
Number 9, Satanic Panic, also known by Walmart as Panic.
Yeah, that was
because
stupid.
people were going to get offended at satanic, even though this is America, where everyone has the freedom of religion. I don't give a fuck if you're offended by satanic. If that's someone's religion, it does not make yours more important than theirs. It does not give you a right to shit on it. So Satanic Panic was a really fun movie, really 80s style, like, plot. This pizza girl gets kidnapped by a cult so they can sacrifice her for Baphomet.
Oh, nice.
And then, spoiler alert, the highest level demon, an alternate pronunciation of Samael comes about and destroys everyone worshipping Baphomet.
Oh,
The only thing that kind of threw me off is the portrayal by a little girl, but whatever. I could be whatever you want me to be, guys.
Okay. All right. I unfortunately have not seen Satanic Panic,
I
but
gotta let you borrow that one.
yeah, it was on my list. It did look pretty cool. That's the one with, is that the one with Alexandria? No, that was a different one. I know which one you're talking about, though. There were two, like, kind of, like, witch coven-y type
Yeah.
satanic something movies, but...
Funny that you mentioned that.
So yeah, I haven't seen Satanic Panic, unfortunately, so I can't quite comment on it, but it does look good. My number 9 is Daniel Isn't Real.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, this one was a little bit under the radar, but did get some critical acclaim, and seems to be, pretty positive among the fans, but definitely kind of a more psychological type horror film with, shades of, like, Donnie Darko and Fight Club.
Gotcha.
Basically about this guy's imaginary friend who he had as a kid. He, like, locked him away because he seemed too real, like he was influencing his decisions and stuff like that. And he comes back as an adult and played by Patrick Schwarzenegger. Yes, Arnold Schwarzenegger's son.
What?
It's crazy.
What?
He kind of does look like him, but he doesn't have the accent. But I thought he did a fantastic job in that role. He was like a super egotistical, kind of like Patrick Bateman type psychopathic ego. But when you learn what he is, that's the part that I liked. I'm not going to spoil it, but that was kind of a cool sort of reveal. I thought the movie did a lot of sweet stuff. Some body horror in there, some like Cronenberg type shit. It was a mix of a lot of cool things. I think it did it successfully. And I mean, it didn't like do a great job of talking about mental illness or anything like that. But yeah, I thought it was an impressive film. And I think it did a lot of things really well. So, and the performances were awesome. Yeah,
I have to check it out.
It's worth it. So, number 8.
Number 8 is The Lighthouse for me.
Okay.
Now that I looked at my whole list, I was assuming The Lighthouse was going to crack my top 3, but I forgot about the rest of these movies out there that I enjoyed a lot more. Creepy ass movie, shows how, just two men's descent into madness when they're placed just in solitude with each other. And, with all the allegories with like Prometheus and all that stuff and the gods and the stealing of the light. Thought that was all clever. The acting, fucking brilliant performance by Willem Dafoe.
Mm-hmm.
Probably this is my number 1 acting performance. Like my favorite one of the year is Willem Dafoe in this movie. Robert Pattinson did a great job as well, but it seemed like Willem Dafoe was giving him acting lessons throughout the whole movie.
Yeah. No, I mean, I thought they were both good, but, you know, Robert Pattinson, I think, had to be, like, fucking hammered for a lot of these scenes.
Oh, yeah.
And so I don't know if his performance suffered or was improved by that, but I'm going to go with the latter. But yeah, no, I really liked it as well. And I will be talking more about The Lighthouse myself. But all right, still in your top 10. And of course, this is just our opinion on everything. So
might have to take a little break before we start the top 5.
All right. So my number 8 is Dr. Sleep.
Nice.
So I did enjoy this film quite a bit. However, I think I probably would enjoy the book a lot more. Obviously, this movie had to kind of juggle, you know, being a sequel to Kubrick's The Shining, which was already different from Stephen King's material, and being an adaptation of King's Dr. Sleep. So it kind of did a lot. I still think Mike Flanagan did a great job in kind of melding everything and making a pretty compelling fantasy, you know, horror movie. A lot of those elements were really good. I just wasn't like the most drawn into the villains in this movie, and I think that a lot of that is what kind of took me away from it. But overall, I really liked it. I thought Ewan McGregor was fantastic.
He always is, isn't he?
He really is.
Literally,
yeah,
I have not seen a bad Ewan McGregor
fucking
performance.
Obi-Wan Kenobi. But, you know, you do kind of have to compare this to like The Shining, and this one just wasn't quite as captivating for me, but I still think it was a good movie, and it should have gotten more attention than it did at the movie theater. Kind of unfortunate. So, number 7.
Number 7, I think both of ours is the same. Us?
Yes.
Okay, so now that you know Barnabas's pick, Us was my number 7. I feel like Jordan Peele is going to be a master of horror, especially with his, you know, upcoming production on Candyman, and he did The Twilight Zone, which I kind of like stopped watching because I heard it kind of got meh. But
I still liked some of the later episodes. I think he did a good job.
Okay, cool. But for Get Out was perfect. It was a perfect horror movie. Us was good. Kind of my only problem with it is kind of the pacing and then like the questions, but like I think things weren't supposed to be directly answerable, you know, like how'd they get 400 million pairs of jumpsuits and all that stuff. I think that's the part, if you want to be nitpicky, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
What really matters is the message in this movie. And that's why I liked it. Managed to be creepy. I really liked the kills. I liked the way the main characters fought back, beat the fuck out the clones, and then I really liked the twist too, which I kind of saw coming. Like not because of like what they gave us, because I didn't notice like the minor subtle things. I just felt like it would only make sense if this movie had a big twist.
Yeah. I mean, it conveniently kind of took you away from it at the very last second before you found out, you know, what happened kind of at the beginning there. But yeah, I pretty much can mimic all those points. I did enjoy it. I think that Jordan Peele really showed a love of horror in this movie specifically in comparison to Get Out, which was more of a social horror thriller. He wanted to say something and put it in this scary shell. I think he did that perfectly. This one, he was also trying to say something on a grander scope. Maybe the scope was too big. It is where I think maybe it lost a lot of people. I will say I kind of agree with that. And yeah, like those kind of points of how like the outfits and stuff, I get it. I get why they're
just minor
criticisms,
things,
but they are kind of nitpicky. I don't think that they should be questioned too heavily to the point where you're like, this movie was fucking trash, because it wasn't. It wasn't.
No.
It was shot very well. I think overall the vision was there and he achieved it. The soundtrack was fucking sweet.
Probably my favorite soundtrack of the year.
Yeah.
Definitely my favorite soundtrack of the year.
Yeah. And like, I just was really having a good time watching pretty much the entire movie, especially when they get to like the neighbor's house, like that whole sequence with like fuck the police and stuff like playing it. Like that was really cool. And you can tell that Jordan Peele just knows what he's doing. And it was intense, you know, good tension, good suspense, good atmosphere. So yeah.
Thoroughly enjoyable movie.
Absolutely. So that was our collective number 7. Number 6.
Number 6, The Night Sitter.
All right.
This movie definitely cracked my top 10. Oh man, I love the lighting. I love the premise. I love the kills. I love the creepiness of the witches. Let me mention it again. I love the lighting so fucking much.
Yeah, it
in
was
this
really
movie.
good.
Very Suspiria-esque. I like the twist at the end. If you remember, it sort of had been planned to go that way.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen this, just fucking skip the rest of this. But probably one of the more original movies of this year. I would consider it as a love letter to Argento and a continuation of the Three Mothers trilogy. So hopefully we get another movie after The Night Sitter, and we can start another Three Mothers trilogy.
That would be cool. Yeah, we actually have to finish off that trilogy with Mother of Tears, but I agree. I think that this one had some really cool callbacks to Argento, Suspiria in particular. But, you know, it was my number 26 just because it felt mostly average to me. Like, I wasn't super blown away by everything, although the lighting, the kind of retro feel, the love it showed to all those movies was definitely very good. And I did enjoy the witches aspect and everything. It was cool. But I feel like I had seen a lot of it before, I guess.
Gotcha.
So that's why it was a little lower on mine.
Makes sense. It just felt like super like different to me because like I've only watched Suspiria and it like kind of reminded me of it, like due to like the lighting and like the witch aspect, but haven't seen Inferno or Mother of Tears yet. So
no, that's fair. Inferno is really good. You should definitely check that out.
okay.
But it was a solid movie. I think it was definitely one of the year's more surprising, decent horror films. My number 6 is Ready or Not. So I put this one a little bit higher just because I had a blast watching it. You know, it was not very scary and there wasn't a whole lot of tension, but I thought the action was really good. I thought the entire story and then the twist and all the acting and everything was awesome. It was actually darkly comic, you know, and actually funny, which a lot of horror movies don't do. A lot of movies, when they try to go funny, it's really cringy, like super bad dialogue and everything. And this one had some punchlines, but I think it all flowed together pretty well. And it was just a fun watch and very gory, which I appreciated.
Yes.
So, and of course, Samara Weaving is bae, if we're still using that term. So
I think that was like 4 years ago.
all right, well, I'm really late to the game. So all right, so that's number 6. We're going to take a very brief break here before we dive into our top 5 of the year. Stick around. And welcome back, Fiends. Now it is time for our top 5 horror films of 2019. Now I do just want to mention there were, you know, a bunch of notable ones that I did not see that will not be making my top 5 or my list in general. Obviously, I did not get to watch 3 from Hell.
Same.
Or Life Changer or Little Monsters or The Platform or The Wind or Climax or a bunch of other ones that some people really like.
Okay, don't watch The Wind.
Okay.
I'll tell you that right now.
All right, so that's not in yours for sure. All right, so number 5.
Number 5. It was my most highly anticipated film of the year, and it was Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Okay.
My number 5, PG-13 rating, didn't really take much from it. It was thoroughly enjoyable, and I was really happy that it got set up for a sequel. I love the monsters. I love the way the movie unfolded slowly. It was slow at some spots, but not for too long. Like, the most you had to wait for something to happen was like 15 minutes. So, definitely one of the better movies of the year. Nothing really negative I can say about it. I just liked my top 4 a little bit better.
All right, that's fair. For me, it was my number 24.
Gotcha.
Which I liked it, and I will definitely go back and watch it again. And it wasn't even like a huge disappointment to me or anything like that, but it also didn't like get me as much as I thought it would.
Yeah.
Some of the segments were definitely really cool. The Scarecrow one was great. I think the one with the woman, the Red Room or whatever it was called.
I like that one.
That one was great. And I think they all flowed together pretty well. But yeah, I don't know. Just something about it. It wasn't top 10 material for me.
I got you. Understandable.
Yeah. However, I did enjoy it and I recommend you see it if you haven't seen it. My number 5 just came into this position today.
Oh shit.
So, but I don't really think it's recency bias. I actually think I really enjoyed it. It wasn't particularly scary or anything like that. But my number 5 is the French Knife Plus Heart.
Okay, I haven't seen that one yet.
But you remember kind of, I think, what it was, right? It was that very giallo influenced French kind of slasher film.
Yep.
With the guy in the leather mask and the curly hair. Yeah, I just watched it today. I've been wanting to check this one out because I've heard pretty much nothing but good things about it. And yeah, wow, I really liked it. This movie will not be for everybody. It concerns a woman who is a director of gay porn. And there's something going on. Her actors are getting murdered left and right. And it kind of falls on her to try and figure out who is doing it and what is going on. And it goes in a pretty cool direction that I actually liked quite a bit, sort of reminiscent of some of the weirder giallo, like Deep Red and maybe even Suspiria, some stuff like that. It had the look down perfectly. I think it had the vibe down perfectly. It's set in Paris in 1979. And pretty much if you've watched any of those, successful 70s horror films, the giallo films, this one just knocks it out of the park. A lot of, homoerotic imagery and stuff like that. But if you're not a fucking bigot and if you're comfortable with your sexuality, I think you can appreciate this movie for what it does. I think it's a successful slasher movie. There's some good stalker elements. And actually, I was pretty captivated by the characters and their struggles. And it talks about, gay culture and the gay community and how, especially at the end of the 70s, it was really kind of this like underground culture because they were, they were persecuted and they had to kind of fend for themselves. And I think this movie portrayed that really well. And the killer was cool. And he had kind of like a classic sort of story to him. So
Good
I
enough
liked it.
for me.
Yeah. So I recommend checking it out if it doesn't make you too uncomfortable or anything. But yeah, I thought it was awesome. So number 4.
Number 4. See, this one didn't crack your top 10, and you mentioned it before. Number 4 for me, because I am a big Halloween season fanboy, especially haunted houses and stuff like that. Number 4 for me was Haunt.
Okay.
I remember waiting desperately for this one to come out on DVD because I didn't want to just rent it on Amazon Prime, even though it was available. I wanted to own it. I've heard great things about it. One of my friends said, my friend on Instagram, he said the only good thing he liked about this movie were the masks. I politely disagree. And I really like the kills. I like the premise. Kind of reminded me of Houses October built. Yeah. But, people were actually getting killed in this one. And honestly, just thoroughly enjoyable and is definitely going to be a Halloween season rewatch for me every year from now on. It's definitely going to be one of the classic Halloween season movies for me.
I could agree with that. I mean, I thought that it knocked that part of it out of the park, quite frankly.
Oh, yeah.
Like it had hella Halloween vibes. All the costumes were awesome. And if I were in that position, especially on Halloween night, I'd be like, man, fuck this.
Yeah, dude, I'd be shitting bricks. I went to a real haunted house after I hit my pen, and I was already tripping out.
Yeah.
Imagine if we were really about to get killed.
Man. I mean, yeah, some of it is really intense. And this was kind of like some McKamey Manor, but for real shit.
Yeah.
And yeah, freaky. So I agree with that placement for sure. My number 4 is Alexander Aya's Crawl.
Haven't watched it.
Definitely should. Yeah, like the CGI gators are pretty much my only flaw with it, but they're not even really that bad most of the time, honestly. A lot of the time, you're already so sucked in with all the action and everything that's happening and the tension and just fearing for this woman's life, that it's not really super distracting or anything like that, especially with multiple gators. And if that was happening in my house in the middle of a fucking hurricane and I was trapped inside, you better bet your ass I would be terrified.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
I think this movie just did what it set out to do very well. It was well shot. Action was great. It even made me jump at one point. So, I mean, I think it was a super successful kind of creature feature. And, even though some people kind of look down on these like animal horror movies. I think if you do it really well, it's very good. You know, look at Jaws, Anaconda, all those movies. You know, I'm forgetting a lot, I'm sure, but I mean, yeah, it is scary, and I think this movie did it very well.
I think realistically, animals are the thing we should be the most afraid of if we're out in the wild.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I mean, this is an even like worse situation because you don't expect something like this to happen inside your own home.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And especially during like a natural disaster. Fuck that. So I think it was highly effective, and I really liked it. So, all right, top 3. Samael, what is your number 3?
Number 3, coming in hot, is It Chapter 2. Was really waiting for this one since we watched It in theaters. What was it, 2 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
Really enjoyed It. Chapter 2 really focused a lot on the character development and sacrifice and facing one's own fears, returning back and fighting adversity. And I really enjoyed everyone's performance.
Mm-hmm.
I just wish we would have saw more of Pennywise. That's why otherwise this would have been my like number 1 movie.
Yeah.
We just didn't see that much of Pennywise. Bill Skarsgård, once again, kicked ass in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
James McAvoy. Everyone really, really nailed it and how I would have imagined these people to grow up, and definitely blows the It miniseries out of the water.
I can agree with that. Absolutely. For me, it was my number 19.
Gotcha.
So I didn't hate it though. I actually liked this movie quite a bit. I do think chapter 1 was still better. I think it maintained that kind of darker, scarier tone a lot more. Although I agree, everyone's performances were amazing. All the effects and stuff were good. I do kind of wish we saw more of Pennywise as well. But even in the book, he was mostly there in kind of the I don't know,
the mood of the city.
The mood, like the descriptions, etc., and kind of lingering in the background. We didn't quite see that so much in the film, I feel like, but at the same time, it was almost too much of like a blockbuster thing for me.
Gotcha.
I think is why I had it a little bit lower. But my number 3 is one I was definitely pleasantly surprised with. Tigers Are Not Afraid. You might remember this one, kind of a dark fairy tale sort of set in Mexico, talking about the drug cartels and the horrors and violence that, you know, they instill on an everyday basis as we follow these orphans. I just thought this movie was done super well. The kid actors were terrific. It was actually pretty scary at times. You know, we had like the specters and everything. Honestly, quite a bit different than the usual like paranormal fare. I think that this movie did it way better, especially when you're considering like why these specters exist and like their relation to the kids and everything like that. Honestly, it's more of like a tragedy. It's actually a pretty depressing, sad movie, but that's what it was supposed to be. You know, it had this overarching message of this drug violence and everything, and yeah, I think it hit home and was just a super good movie.
Completely agreed.
Yeah, I'm also a Del Toro like fanboy, and this movie obviously has been compared to that a lot. So.
Oh yeah, hella Del Toro vibes, especially with Devil's Backbone and The Orphanage, like those type of vibes.
Yeah, a lot of similar messages, but just really dark, very atmospheric. I really enjoyed it. So, all right, number 2.
We might have the same number 2, unless you made it your number 1.
Okay.
Midsommar.
Okay.
This is my number 2. Deeply disturbing film. A lot of people hated it, but you're stupid and I don't care about you, so your opinion means less to me than the shit my dog takes on her training pads, and you're fucking stupid. It's always these 80s fucking fanboys that want to trash these, like, you know, movies that actually have messages and make you think besides, oh, killer with mask, stab, stab. Like, I don't give a fuck. I enjoyed the movie. It was fucking depressing. It made me think about my own life experiences with trauma. The acting was perfect. It was set in the daytime, but it was still creepy as fucking shit.
Yeah.
Regardless, the hallucinogens, the messages about loss and about unity and family, and all of that tied in together perfectly. And I think this was just the perfect movie, period.
I do think Ari Aster is also primed to become one of the kind of contemporary goats of horror.
I loved Hereditary.
He just knows how to disturb the fuck out of you. More head trauma, please. I want to keep seeing it. I hope it's a running Ari Aster thing. And yeah, I loved it, but I will not spoil. Well, I guess I'll maybe spoil what it is. My number 2 is The Lighthouse.
Gotcha.
I actually loved it. I'm more of like, an art house kind of horror. So I watched like a lot of black and white films and everything like that. I think this movie did it fantastically. Robert Eggers knocked it out of the park. I know that there are a lot of people who hate his kind of style of filmmaking and everything, but I don't. I thought, when I saw it in that kind of like square format and the fog and the foghorn and the ship kind of rolled in there at the beginning, I was already hooked. I was like, yes, this is what I want to see. Like you mentioned, you already talked about a lot of the great points about this movie. The acting was phenomenal. I think the slow descent into madness was captured very well. And even those kind of like more Shakespearean type moments where like, Willem Dafoe's characters giving that monologue and everything, may not have immediately made sense to a lot of people, but this movie was just one big kind of nerd fest in filmmaking. And I thought it was awesome. I really enjoyed the entire look and feel and sound of the movie. Some people will probably think it's not particularly scary, but I think the psychological horror elements were done very well.
I agree, and that's why it definitely cracked my top 10.
Yeah. So, all right. Number 1, you probably can guess what mine is. I think I know what yours is, but let's just do it anyway.
I know yours is Midsommar.
And yours is probably
Dr. Sleep.
Dr. Sleep.
We knew.
Yeah.
We just had a feeling, We do have each other on Letterboxd, but I promise you I did not look at your list. I did not want to cheat there.
Mm-hmm.
I really did enjoy Dr. Sleep. It was pretty long, but then again, The Shining was really long.
Yeah.
So I especially loved it since I just watched the new Shining 4K Steelbook, and then as soon as I watched that, I watched this. So I was able to, like, when they finally went back to the hotel, to see like the old imagery, and I was able to really get into, Ewan's character's like plot for why they were going back to the hotel.
Yeah.
Because not that much evil exists anywhere on Earth apparently besides just in that hotel. Maybe try some cult buildings. I don't know. Where they performed sacrifices on babies. That would have worked too. Would work just fine. The thing with the villains is they weren't like super great, but the main villain, I enjoyed her. She was believable as a villain. I just didn't like how the girl just basically like throttled her every time she tried to get in her head.
Yeah.
Like she was nothing. And then she had problems with doing that when they actually met face to face.
I think that was probably one of my bigger gripes about the movie is that like the main characters, I never really felt like they were in immediate danger.
Yeah. And I only really cared about Danny.
Yeah. That's fair. I mean, honestly, I think we mentioned that in our review, but same. But I can totally see why it's your number 1. I do think a lot of it was actually the entire movie was done super well. We mentioned it in our review, but didn't mention it this time. The actors who were meant to kind of replace, Jack Nicholson and Shelley Duvall and stuff is kind of their stand-ins of the Mike Flanagan Shining verse.
Mm-hmm.
Were all awesome. I think they did a super good job with that.
Yeah.
So and it did make sense why they went back to the hotel too. So I thought he wrapped everything up very nicely, as well as he could have anyway. But my number 1, yes, is Midsommar. I don't know. It's just like the movie that stuck with me the longest. I get why it's controversial. Not everybody is into these type of movies, I guess, either because, I'm not going to say, I mean, sometimes people just don't like something, fair. But if you think this movie is garbage,
fuck you.
Yeah, I think you're stupid and probably don't know a thing about movies because it was done phenomenally, super disturbing. I mean, this is like probably the movie that stuck with me, had the most kind of lasting impact on me. I still think about it. I still haven't rewatched it. I do want to actually see like the director's cut.
They have it on iTunes for $10.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta get that or find a way to get it.
I just found this out last night.
Nice. I've heard it doesn't add like too much more like as far as important, like story material or anything, but some of the scenes are a little extended, and there's like a couple things. But yeah, I just thought it was awesome. It did not feel long to me. I thought it was written perfectly. I thought the horror elements were great. You know, seeing all the... And you see a lot of stuff off screen, too. There's a good mystery to it. And it's just set up very well. The hallucinogenics were trippy as balls. And yeah, I thought everything just played out super well. And I was always invested in the movie.
I was
which
too,
is
honestly.
important. And no, go ahead.
And even like the, you know, slightly comedic elements weren't even forced at all.
No, it was good.
It was like perfect.
Yeah. I think just because they're all like pretty good. Well, they're all good actors.
Oh yeah.
Florence Pugh, phenomenal.
The dude
Everybody in this movie was great.
the dude from We're the Millers.
Yeah, he was
That's
fantastic.
fucking great.
Yeah. No, I loved him. And, you know, he's just like a natural comedic actor. So that's why it didn't feel like it was forced or anything.
Oh yeah. He was just supposed to be the funny guy, so anything he said was like a fucking knee slapper.
Exactly. Was it Will Poulter?
Yeah.
I think his name?
Yeah, that's him.
He was great. Everybody in this movie was awesome. I love the tension, the suspense, and the fact that it was during daytime. Yeah, that was like one of the biggest things. Not a lot of horror movies can do that successfully, but this movie was pretty much entirely set in the daytime. And it's not like horror can't happen in the daytime. We're just so used to seeing all these horror movies set at night because that's when we kind of naturally, you know, feel more fear because we are afraid of the unknown. But at the same time, it's almost kind of scarier when you can see something directly in front of you.
Oh yeah.
And shit's going batshit crazy. So
It's more of like an invasion of like your safe space because you think the sun is out, you're in nature, everything's fine, and then reality just like that's not how this works.
you end up in a bear suit.
Oh.
And then, yeah, it's not a good time. So, yeah, I love this movie. I think it definitely deserves a spot in everybody's at least top 3. But again, not for everybody, I suppose. But I do think this really showed that Ari Aster has command of this genre. I think, you know, him, Jordan Peele, Robert Eggers, all those guys are really up there. And they're making some good stuff. And yeah, they're like kind of slow burners. They're more thought-provoking horror movies. But I don't know. They're just really good.
I agree. I don't want a movie to just start with the action and then just be all kills and all everything. That's fine for like a Friday the 13th movie.
Yeah.
It's perfect for a Friday the 13th movie. But if you're trying to think of some like this, like you're trying to like make a movie with a message that's deeply rooted in our genes and in our psyches, like stuff that makes us vulnerable and like things that really freak us out and things that we're terrified, like losing someone and whatever, someone cheating on you or something. And like these movies aren't going to be all in your face like every second of the movie with that message because it takes more time to relay that message. Like other things have to happen just like they do in real life. You don't just fucking wake up one day and your life is shit. There's a progression toward that. So
Exactly. Yeah, I agree. And that was actually good thing that you brought that up because that was another kind of trend I saw in a lot of movies this year was just like relationships, you know, sexuality and emotional connections, relationships between people, very prominent things. Of course, 2019, so we're starting to, you know, include more kind of LGBTQ content and just actually talking about more stuff that we normally feel a little uncomfortable about, but actually ends up being kind of a big theme in a lot of these movies. And yeah, absolutely, I agree. You know, if you want to watch something like Ready or Not, more power to you. It was a good movie. It was fun, but you know, people want original, visceral horror, and they always complain that there isn't any. And I think like Midsommar and The Lighthouse and movies like that are perfect examples of that kind of horror done right.
I agree.
And that's why they were in our top 10. So yeah, those are our top 10 lists, guys. You may agree, you may disagree, but we do want to hear what yours are. So you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for Grave Discussions or Gravedisc SRD on Twitter. And you can also check out gravediscussions.net. We'll be updating the site. We're going to get more written reviews and things like that up there. So bookmark it, follow us, subscribe, and I think that's going to wrap up 2019. And we'll see you in the roaring 20s, I guess.
Next time you see us, we will be on a new wave.
I'll be in a flapper dress.
I will be in a ballerina tutu. Only on the one, the only, grave discussions. And a happy new year.
This has been an SRD production.